Hello and welcome to part one of Cottonwood Creek. I'm George Coll and this is intro to desert painting. I got back a week ago from Canyonlands, Utah, and today is a subject matter from that area. So today is trying to get back. I haven't painted for 3 weeks and it's kind of nice to get back in front of a blank canvas, but I'm kind of reacquainting myself, even though I've been painting for 20 years. And you know, when you take these little breaks, you go, well, I probably needed it, but it's time to get back into what we do. So everything worked out real good. So today was block-in, which means I covered the whole canvas with value color. So you can see me and watch me do that from my overhead camera. And I explain my mixtures and the brushes I use, and why I'm mixing the colors I'm mixing. So, it was nice to be in Canyonlands. I haven't been there for many years. My wife and I used to go there all the time, and we started going there, I think our first time, believe it or not, 50 years ago. All right, let's get to today's part one. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. Here we are. And good morning. Here is part one of a 3-part series titled Cottonwood Creek. This is Canyonlands area outside the, in the BLM land, not inside the park, but that's in southern Utah. And today is, let's get started with this thing. So, as you can see from my overhead, looks like I've got a number 2, 4, 6, something I can't quite read. These are 2025s, and then in here I also have a 279. One's a little softer, and these 2025s are a little stiffer. So that's what these fellows are. And this guy's kind of just a great big wide thing. It's called a Gold Star Craft or something. Looks like Hobby Lobby. And my knives and my scraper. So that's my tools today. I think it's also worth mentioning something else I have. I have my Gamsol solvent here, and then and it's kind of mucky because I've been using it a little bit, but it's kind of where I clean. And then I have a kind of a clear one here of Gamsol, which is as you can see, it's clear and not so mucky. But by the end of the painting, it'll probably get a little mucky. All right. What I want to do today is cover this canvas in paint in value shapes. Shapes that have some sort of value. Value is like a 0 to 10 on the light and dark scale. And color is, some sort of a chroma that is going to be involved in that light and dark. So that's what we hope to do here today. So with that, let's get started. Okay. So I'll probably start with my smaller stuff. I also have my timing camera. Better put that over at a safer place so I don't get paint on it. And let's get started with some sort of a mixture I can draw a line shape with. All right, so let's get prepared, okay? I've got my paper towel underneath, and so I pull one of those, and I am ready to get started. Little transparent oxide red, little ultra. Some gray and some titanium white. Now, what is a shape? Well, you want to try to outline major shapes: trees, rivers, rocks, riverbeds. So I'm not sure yet about the composition of this reference I've given you. I have a lot of foreground, which I like, but it might be a little bit too much. I might lower the stream a little bit. So I'm going to have a stream coming out from that point. So there's going to be trees, cottonwoods, I guess. And then that stream is going to come out here and here and go over this way. And that's a little too fat, so I'm going to skinny him down, and then I'm going to have this over here, and then I'm going to have, looks like shrubbery of some sort, or small cottonwoods covering some of this over here. So right in here is going to be a lot of tree type stuff. Now over here is a bank, and on top of that are going to be these some sort of bushes coming in here into this area. And they come right over to the edge of the stream. Okay. And then over here, we're going to make a little bit higher. We're squeezing out some of the bottom, but we're going to make the rocks up here, the rock face, a little taller. Okay, phew, I think that works. Well, just don't be jumping off too fast here. I think I'm going to put another sort of a tree back in here, some cottonwoods in shade maybe. You can see these rock face is mostly in shadow. Okay, over here is going to be bushes type stuff. And I'm going to do them in such a way they kind of describe, there's a hill going down here, and then a great dark bank coming down from here. All right. I think that might be enough to get started. So I'm going to clean my brush and start with my mixtures. All right, let's move this out. I might need it later. And clean my palette. I'm working on glass, and I like it in the studio because it's a good way to keep a nice clean palette, even though it doesn't look that way. It's good and hard and easy to clean. All right, with that, let's start with this great big major shape here and see what we can do with just a good base color. So some sort of a purple. So let's do red and blue. Throw some gray in there. That gray is a little dry down there. But it's also got some warm in it. Let's get some Hansa yellow in it. Hansa yellow deep. And we make a good, clean, thorough mixture. And let's get a good wide brush. And I'm going to get a little bit of Gamsol in it to loosen up my brush mostly. And let's see what this looks like. not enough blue in it. Let's go back to Ultra. This stage I'm putting my colors in a thin matter. So I have a little bit more Gamsol mixture than I do paint. I still don't like it. I'm going to get more blue and red in here. More Ultra, a little bit more red, more Ultra. Okay, let's get this thing going now. Just a little bit of white in here. A little bit more red. Oh, that's pretty. I think it's going to be just right for a base. Let me clean off this brush using the same brush, which is a number 6, I think. Flat. Now, my impression is I'm putting it in a little too thick and a little too dark. So I'll show you what I'm going to do in just a second to get it just right. All right, I'm going to get a clean paper towel, and I'm going to mat it up and start from the top and bring her down. And I think we're getting a little closer to where I want to be. It's kind of a different angle here. Seeing the reference, kind of another level. It comes out and horizontally, a new horizontal line here, and then a vertical coming down. And let me see if I can work on that just a little bit with a little bit more red. Right in here. Just a slight difference. Okay, that should about do it for that. I'm going to get this softer brush and soften some of these, these hard brush strokes that you can see. All right, there we go. I'm going to clean off this big brush. I might be using it a lot at this stage. Okay. So I need to move this section out here and make some more mixing room. And let's go to our next mixture. So let's make a sand color. So I'm going to get some Naples and just a touch of that gray blue we had in there, and knock down the Naples just a little bit. And I'm going to go back with the same number 6. And put that in this area here. And I'll put a smattering of that a little bit over in here. I'm going to add a little bit of transparent oxide red to the Naples. So here's Naples, transparent oxide red, and a touch of alizarin. Hope I have enough of this. And I'm going to start putting that in here. And then I'm going to throw in more transparent oxide red, a little bit of transparent oxide brown, and I'm going to put that darker mixture in front. A little bit of ultra blue in there too. Oh boy, that took it too far. So I got to take it back with a little bit of Naples. There we go. And we're going to put that in right up in here. More brown, more red, transparent oxide red, more transparent oxide brown. And there's a few other dark browns up in here too. All right, let's move on. Let's move this major value color over somewhere else. Run the razor blade over it and move into our next value. I'm going to clean this brush out. Now I'm going to get some light gray. It's called, well, this is Portland gray by Gamblin. And I'm adding some titanium white to it. When I look at the reference, I see a gray reflection on the water. So with that, I'm going to just go in here with a different brush. There's just too much contamination from that brown left over. So that is not good. Moving over to a different brush. And this is a number 4 flat. And you can see it's just nice and gray, light gray. And I'll put that in the water. Since I'm doing some gray, there's a lot of gray over here. There's a darker gray, so I'm going to go to that Rembrandt gray. I'm going to add some olive to it. And I'm going to work on these guys over in here. And I'm going to go back with my, this is a really soft edge here. And I'm softening that. And this is kind of a soft edge also. And with the direction of the brush, you can see I'm bringing down a kind of a feeling of this is a hill right here. All right, we've got some trees to deal with, but I think I have some purple or blue or something in there. So I've got a little bit of something in here that's a different color value in here. So I'm going to just thin this out just a little bit, because that's the way I see it in the reference. And let's make way for a green mixture now. How am I doing over here on time? Almost 9 minutes. We can do this with time to spare. Favorite people to watch painting is Mark Voges, and that's another guy that spends a lot of time mixing, spends as much time down here as he does up here, maybe even more, getting those mixtures right. At least in my observation. Okay, so let's get some permanent green. That's not cutting it. Let's move that over. Let's go back to permanent green. Let's get some Naples in it. Naples. And more Naples. And let's get some bismuth yellow. Bismuth yellow. Oh, now we're really on the money. And let's go back to this thick thing, and hopefully some of that brown is out of there. And if it isn't, at least it's not too far off from my green. And I'm going to load up my brush and start getting these strokes in. And we've got some down here too. And some over in here. Let's get some of that brown stuff we had previously down in here and mix some green into it. You see that from the overhead, and you can see that makes for a nice transition color in the trees. back to that blue-gray stuff too. That's in here. And I see some of that over in here too. All right, let's go back to our basic green and get that in various places. Let me get back and take a look. And that is a good start. I know I need darks in a lot of other places, like the bottom of these bushes down in here. Oh, it's got to be a lot darker than what I just put down. And I think there's some darks along the bank. Well, because of the time limits we have, let's finish off with the sky and get that done. And that should bring us to an end to this session. I sure have gone through the paper towels this session. I'm going to consciously try to use less paper towels and use them up more. See, I'm not so conscious of what's going on in my left hand, so I'm always just folding it when it's maybe not necessary to fold it, which reduces the size of the paper towel and the surface area that you can use for your brush. All right, so let's get back to mixture. And we are still good on time. So let's go over to cerulean and white. Have these brilliant blue skies in Canyonlands. The starry nights were just wonderful. Just got back a week ago. I need more white. Let's add just a touch of yellow in there. Hansa yellow medium. And that should do it. So I'm going to get this wide brush, this number 6. I'm cleaning it in the white, or in the really clear turp. It's not turp, it's Gamsol. And I'm going to get that in here. I just kind of changed the shape a little bit. I've been watching the reference here very closely. And I'm put this overlay in. You can change the shape in the top of the mountain. All right, let's take a look. Good, okay. Again, let's keep it light and pick up that sky just a little bit. And I've got a little contamination from my paper towel, and that's good. All right, so that is covering 11 by 14 canvas in 30 minutes. So, you know, talking and painting is, it gets to be more of a challenge all the time. But anyway, I think the important thing is that you can see me mix, because the way I learned was being to the left side of my right-handed first instructor, and Liz would be mixing something up, and I'd try to mix the same thing and try to get it in the same general neighborhood where she landed it, and that's how I started. So, and I'm still at it after 20-some, 22, 23, 24 years. All right, so that's a good start, and we'll get back in part 2 where we're going to balance these values and get a little bit into detail to figure out that this thing works together. Okay, so today was composition and color value, and tomorrow's going to be more balancing those things. All right, thanks for coming by for part 1, and oh, that's my timer, and that means I've got to stop. All right, thanks y'all, bye-bye.